You want me to tell a story in a minute and 19 seconds?
You can just ignore that.
Okay.
Time is like, what is time?
Social construct.
It's a social construct.
My name is Heather King. It's funny that you used that picture. That was my last deployment as a C-130 crew chief in Al Udeid. The last time I've seen that picture was that New York Times article. So anyways, first, I really just want to take a moment to honor all of the stories that aren't going to get to be told on a platform like this. And I just want to express my gratitude for being able to share my experience with everybody. So here we go. So I was raised in Clarksville, Tennessee by a single mother. We were very lower middle class. My mother is white. And so we lived in all-white neighborhoods so that I could go to predominantly white schools because that's where she believed I'd find the best education. And that's kind of where my search for identity started. I didn't fit in school. I was just black enough for white people not to want to play with me, but I was also too white to fit into black communities. As I grew older, then there was the added complexity of sexual identity, realizing that the container that the person was in didn't really matter much to me, but not having the room to be able to express that or anybody else that felt the same way. And so I felt guilt and shame for all of the things that I was, biracial, whatever I think the kids call it, pansexual today. Who knows? I don't know. And then being a female, and I was a tomboy. I liked GI Joes and I liked beating people up. And so I joined the military before 9/11, looking for identity. I was one of the only females on the flight line at the time, and I had an option of who I could be. I could be the bitch, I could be the slut, or I could be one of the guys. And it really didn't matter who I thought I was, because they were going to tell me who I was every day. I was investigated under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Lucky for me, nothing ever came of it, but I can't say the same for a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends were put out of the Air Force under a dishonorable discharge, barring them from being able to use the VA or any other services simply because they were gay. I got out of the military and my quest for identity kept going. Honestly, true story, I didn't know that I could call myself a veteran. I had deployed, but I didn't know that I was able to call myself a veteran because I didn't do 20 years. And I had it like ingrained in me that you've got to do 20 years, and I didn't do 20 years. I did 9.5. The half's not really important, but. And so when I couldn't find my identity, I drank a lot, and I found my identity in a bottle, and I was the hot mess. Like, that's our friend Heather. She's a hot mess, but she's our hot mess, you know? I was that girl. And it was good until it wasn't. I found recovery October 1st of 2016. And that was the first time that I found community, but once again, I also found another identity. Now I was an alcoholic. Although I worked my program diligently, and I found a lot of healing in that, there was still something that wasn't enough. I still struggled with all the pieces of me that I didn't understand, that I couldn't relate to, and that I didn't have people to talk to because there weren't a lot of people who had experiences like me. There were a lot of people who told me that I was not enough or I was too much. And in 2020, I found psychedelics. And what psychedelics gave me was this path back to my heart. I also felt the weight of my guilt and my shame and all the stories. I felt what I had done to myself, the stories and the thoughts that I had wrapped myself in. And that disillusionment started to actually happen. And I realized who I truly am. And I am love, and I'm space. And that's what psychedelics gave me. And that's why I'm here. You see, to me, if you want to support veterans and marginalized communities, if you want to support marginalized communities, period, it doesn't just mean veterans, is you give people the space to be who they are in the fullest expression of themselves, however that is. And it may not look like what you think it should, and it doesn't matter. But you give people the space. I would ask all of you, as you walk away from here, I want to empower everybody, because we all have biases. We all have things that we need to examine within ourselves and ask ourselves, are we making room for other people to be who they are? And if you can, the answer for me is I don't always, and that's the truth. I don't always make space, but I'm trying in every way that I can possibly, and it starts with me.
Thanks, Heather.
Oh, can I say one more thing? I'm super excited to announce this, but Heroic Hearts Project is going to have their first LGBTQIA-centered ayahuasca retreat coming this fall.
Fantastic.
So I'm super stoked for that.